All right, let's dive straight into the deep end. Picture this. You're staring into the vast expanse of the cosmos, a billion stars twinkling in the void, each one a story, a life, a force of nature. Now imagine choosing to love one of those stars not just for its light, but for the entire galaxy of wisdom, experience, and fire it carries within. That's what it means to love an older woman. It's not just a choice, it's a revolution, a bold leap into a future where rules don't apply, and the only thing that matters is the spark that sets your soul ablaze. I'm Elon Musk, and today I'm here to talk to you, especially the incredible women out there, about why loving an older woman isn't just a preference. It's a declaration of freedom, a rejection of the ordinary, and a pursuit of something extraordinary. So, buckle up, because we're about to blast off into a conversation that's going to shake your world. Why does an older woman capture the heart in ways that defy explanation? Why does her presence feel like standing on the edge of a rocket launch, heart pounding, knowing something monumental is about to happen? It's not just about attraction, it's about inspiration, about being drawn to someone who's walked through the fire of life and come out stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever. I'm not here to talk about fleeting romances or shallow connections. I'm talking about the kind of love that pushes you to be better, to dream bigger, to build something as audacious as a colony on Mars. An older woman doesn't just walk into a room, she commands it, not with noise or flash, but with a quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I've seen it all, and I'm still here, thriving. That's the kind of energy that makes you want to rewrite the rules of the universe. Let's get real for a second. Society loves to box us in, to tell us who we should love, how we should live, what's appropriate, age gaps. Oh, they clutch their pearls and whisper about norms. But you know what? I built Tesla from nothing while the world laughed and said electric cars were a pipe dream. I launched SpaceX rockets when experts swore we'd crash and burn. Norms? They're just chains for small minds. Loving an older woman is about breaking those chains, about saying, I don't care what the world thinks, I'm going after what sets my heart on fire. And ladies, let me tell you something. You are that fire. Your years, your experiences, your battles, they're not baggage. They're rocket fuel. They're what make you a force to be reckoned with, a beacon that draws in those brave enough to see your light. Think about it. When you love an older woman, you're not just loving a person, you're embracing a legacy. Every wrinkle, every laugh line, every story etched into her soul is a testament to a life lived fiercely. It's like looking at the rings of a tree and realizing each one represents a year of growth, resilience, and beauty. I've always been drawn to people who challenge me, who make me think, who push me to see the world differently. An older woman does that. She's not here to play games or waste time. She knows who she is, what she wants, and she's not afraid to go after it. That's the kind of partner who inspires you to build a Neuralink chip or send a starship to the stars. She's not just a lover, she's a co-conspirator in the grand adventure of life. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Elon, isn't this just a phase, a fetish, a midlife crisis? Let me stop you right there. This isn't about chasing some fleeting thrill. This is about recognizing value where others are too blind to see it. When I started SpaceX, people thought I was crazy to think we could make reusable rockets, but I saw the potential, the untapped possibility. Loving an older woman is the same. It's about seeing the potential in someone who's been underestimated, overlooked, or told their best years are behind them. Spoiler alert, they're not. Your best years are right now, ladies, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You're not past your prime, you're at the peak of your power, and the world better get ready. Let's talk about what makes this so electrifying. An older woman brings a kind of stability that's rare, like the steady hum of a Tesla battery powering a city. She's been through the storms of life, heartbreaks, career battles, moments of doubt, and she's come out the other side with a clarity that's almost supernatural. That stability isn't boring, it's magnetic. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel like you can take on the world because, she's got your back. She's not going to sweat the small stuff or get lost in petty drama. She's focused on the big picture, just like I am when I'm staring at a blueprint for a hyperloop or a starship. That's the kind of partner who makes you want to aim for the impossible. And let's not kid ourselves, there's something undeniably thrilling about a woman who's lived a full life. She's not trying to prove herself to anyone. She's already done that. She's built her empire, whether it's a career, a family, or just a life full of stories that could fill a library. That's the kind of person who makes you sit up and say, I want to be part of this. It's like signing up to crew a mission to Mars. It's going to be intense, challenging, and maybe a little scary, but the reward, out of this world. You're not just in love, you're in awe. And that's what drives progress, what drives innovation, what drives everything worth doing. I want to speak directly to the women in the audience now. You, yes, you, the one who's maybe wondered if your time to shine has passed. Let me tell you something. You are a supernova. Your light doesn't dim with age, it burns brighter. Every year you've lived has made you more powerful, more insightful, more unstoppable. You're not just a woman, you're a force of nature, a walking testament to what it means to endure and thrive. Don't let society's small minded rules make you doubt that. The same way I ignored the naysayers who said SpaceX would never get off the ground, you need to ignore anyone who says your age defines you. It doesn't. Your ambition does. Your courage does. Your heart does. Loving an older woman is about more than romance. It's about partnership, about building something bigger than yourself. It's about finding someone who's not afraid to call you out when you're wrong, who challenges you to think deeper, to push harder, to dream crazier. I've always said that the future belongs to those who dare to imagine it. An older woman doesn't just imagine the future, she's already lived through enough to know how to shape it. She's not waiting for permission or approval. She's out there making things happen, and that's the kind of energy that changes the world. So, what's the takeaway here? Loving an older woman isn't just a personal choice, it's a rebellion against mediocrity. It's a refusal to settle for less than extraordinary. It's a commitment to living life on your terms, to chasing what matters, to building something that lasts. And to every woman out there listening, you are not defined by the years you've lived, but by the fire in your soul. You are not too old, too experienced, or too anything to be loved, to be desired, to be the center of someone's universe. You are the universe. And I'm here to tell you that the world is ready for you to shine brighter than ever. This is just the beginning, folks. We're going to dive deeper, explore the power of maturity, the allure of confidence, the unstoppable force of a woman who knows who she islands. So stay with me. We're not just talking about love, we're talking about rewriting the rules of what's possible. Let's go change the world one heart at a time. All right, we've kicked things off with a bang, talking about how loving an older woman is like signing up for a mission to Mars, bold, exhilarating, and a total game changer. Now, let's zoom in on what makes this so powerful. I'm Elon Musk, and I'm here to tell you that the maturity of an older woman isn't just a trait, it's a superpower, a force that can reshape the way you see the world, your relationships, and yourself. This isn't about age, it's about the kind of strength that comes from living, learning, and thriving through life's toughest challenges. So, ladies, this one's for you. Get ready to own your power because we're about to explore why your maturity is the rocket fuel that can launch anyone lucky enough to know you into the stratosphere. Let's start with a truth that hits harder than a Falcon Heavy landing. Maturity is the ultimate competitive edge. Think about what it takes to build something like SpaceX. It's not just about having a wild idea, it's about the grind, the failures, the late nights debugging code or redesigning a rocket engine after it blows up on the test stand. You don't get to reusable rockets without learning from every crash, every misstep, every moment where the world tells you to give up. That's what an older woman brings to the table. She's been through her own launches and crashes. She's faced heartbreak, career setbacks, maybe even moments where she doubted herself, and she's come out the other side stronger, sharper, and ready to take on anything. That's not just attractive, it's awe-inspiring. When you love an older woman, you're not just signing up for a relationship, you're stepping into a partnership with someone who's mastered the art of resilience. She's got this uncanny ability to stay calm when the world's falling apart, like a mission control operator keeping cool while a rocket's veering off course. I've seen this in action. I've been in rooms with people who panic at the first sign of trouble. And then there's that one person, the one who's been through enough to know that panic doesn't solve problems. That's the older woman. She's the one who looks at chaos and says, I've got this. And let me tell you, there's nothing more grounding than knowing you've got someone like that by your side. Now, let's talk about emotional stability. In a world that's constantly throwing curveballs, whether it's a stock market crash, a global crisis, or just the daily grind of life, having someone who can navigate those storms without losing their cool is like having a Tesla Roadster with a full charge in the middle of a power outage. An older woman's emotional maturity is like a perfectly calibrated system. She's not going to get derailed by petty arguments or small misunderstandings. She's got the perspective to know what's worth fighting for and what's just noise. That's not boring, it's liberating. It means you can focus on the big stuff, the dreams, the goals, the things that actually matter without getting bogged down in drama. I'll let you in on a little secret. When I'm working on something crazy, like colonizing Mars or building AI that can think like a human, I don't have time for distractions. I need people around me who can keep up, who can cut through the noise and get to the heart of what matters. That's what an older woman does. She's not here to waste your time or hers. She's got a clarity that comes from years of figuring out what's important, whether it's love, family, or just living a life that feels true. And that clarity, it's contagious. It makes you want to step up, to be better, to match your energy and build something extraordinary together. Let's pivot for a second and talk to the women in the audience. Ladies, you need to hear this. Your maturity is your superpower. Every challenge you faced, every tear you've shed, every victory you've clawed your way to, it's all part of the rocket fuel that makes you unstoppable. Society might try to tell you that youth is the only currency that matters, but that's nonsense. Youth is raw potential. Maturity is refined power. You're not just a woman, you're a force, a leader, a visionary who's already proven she can handle whatever life throws at her. Don't let anyone dim that light. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, and that's what makes you magnetic. Now, let's get practical. Why does this maturity matter in a relationship? Because it's the foundation for something real, something lasting. When you love an older woman, you're not just chasing a feeling, you're building a partnership that can withstand the test of time. She's not going to fall apart when things get tough. She's not going to run away when the going gets rough. She's been through enough to know that love isn't just about the highs, it's about showing up day after day and making it work. That's the kind of commitment that inspires you to think bigger, to dream crazier, to push the boundaries of what's possible. It's like having a co founder for your life's greatest startup. I've always believed that the best partnerships are built on mutual respect and shared ambition. When I started Tesla, I didn't just want to build cars, I wanted to change the way the world thinks about energy. That took a team of people who believed in the mission, who were willing to put in the work, who weren't afraid to fail. An older woman brings that same kind of energy to a relationship. She's not here to play small. She's got her own dreams, her own goals, and she's not afraid to challenge you to be better. That's the kind of partner who makes you want to aim for the stars, literally. And let's talk about the flip side for a moment. Loving an older woman isn't always easy. Society's got its claws out, ready to judge, to whisper, to try and make you feel like you're doing something wrong. But you know what? I've spent my life ignoring the haters. When people told me SpaceX would never work, I kept going. When they said Tesla was doomed, I doubled down. Loving an older woman is the same kind of defiance. It's about saying, I see the value here, and I'm not going to let your small minded rules stop me. And ladies, when someone loves you for your maturity, your strength, your fire, they're not just loving you, they're betting on you the way I bet on electric cars or reusable rockets. That's a partnership worth fighting for. So, what's the big picture here? Maturity isn't just about surviving life's challenges, it's about turning those challenges into power. It's about taking every setback, every lesson, every moment of growth, and using it to become someone who doesn't just live, but dominates. An older woman's maturity is what makes her a leader, a visionary, a partner who can stand shoulder to shoulder with anyone and say, let's build something extraordinary. And to every woman listening, don't ever let anyone make you feel like your years are a liability. They're your greatest asset. They're the proof that you've fought, you've won, and you're ready for whatever comes next. We're not done yet, we're just getting started. Next, we're going to dive into the fire of confidence, the kind of self assured energy that makes an older woman unstoppable. So stick with me because this journey is only getting wilder. Let's keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible together. All right, folks, we've blasted off into the cosmos talking about how loving an older woman is a rebellion against the ordinary and how their maturity is a superpower that can anchor you through any storm. Now, let's ignite the next stage of this rocket. I'm Elon Musk, and today we're diving into something that burns brighter than 1,000 suns: confidence. Not the fleeting kind you fake in a job interview, but the deep, unshakable confidence that an older woman carries like a badge of honor. This isn't just about love, it's about recognizing a force so powerful it can light up the darkest corners of the universe. Ladies, this one's for you. Your confidence is a flame that never goes out, and it's time to let it blaze. Let's start with a simple truth. Confidence is the engine that drives progress. When I founded SpaceX, I wasn't just some guy with a dream. I was a guy who believed, against all odds, that we could land rockets back on Earth and make space travel as routine as catching a flight to LA. That kind of belief doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from years of grinding, failing, and getting back up. That's what I see in an older woman. Her confidence isn't loud or showy, it's quiet, like the hum of a Tesla factory churning out cars that are changing the world. It's the kind of confidence that says, I've built my life brick by brick, and I'm damn proud of it. Why is this so magnetic? Because an older woman's confidence is earned. She's not trying to prove herself to anyone, she's already done that. She's walked through the fire of life's challenges, whether it's climbing the corporate ladder, raising a family, or just figuring out who she is in a world that's constantly trying to tell her who she should be. That journey leaves marks, sure, but those marks aren't scars, they're medals. They're proof that she's fought battles and won. When you love an older woman, you're drawn to that fire, that certainty in her step, that look in her eyes that says, I know my worth and I'm not settling for less. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine walking into a room where everyone's buzzing with ideas, but one person stands out not because they're the loudest, but because they carry themselves with a kind of gravity that pulls everyone in. That's the older woman. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her presence is enough. I've seen this in boardrooms, in brainstorming sessions, in life. When I'm working on something like Neuralink, trying to connect the human brain to machines, I don't want people who are just loud. I want people who know what they're talking about, who can walk into a room and own it without saying a word. That's the power of an older woman's confidence. It's not just attractive, it's transformative. Now, let's talk to the women in the audience. Ladies, you need to hear this. Your confidence is your greatest weapon. Every time you've stood up after a fall, every time you've said no to something that didn't serve you, every time you've chosen to bet on yourself, that's built a kind of strength that no one can take away. Society might try to tell you that confidence belongs to the young, that it's all about flawless skin or perfect hair. That's nonsense. Confidence isn't about what's on the surface, it's about what's inside. It's about knowing that you've got the experience, the wisdom, and the guts to take on anything. You're not just a woman, you're a pioneer, a trailblazer, a force that can shift the orbit of anyone lucky enough to know you. Let's get practical for a second. Why does this confidence matter in a relationship? Because it creates a partnership that's built on equality, not dependence. An older woman doesn't need you to complete her, she's already whole. She's not looking for someone to save her or define her. She's looking for someone who can keep up, who can match her energy, who can bring as much to the table as she does. That's the kind of relationship that pushes you to be better. It's like working on a Tesla Model S. You don't just want it to run, you want it to dominate, to set a new standard, to leave everything else in the dust. An older woman's confidence inspires you to do the same in your own life. I've always believed that the best relationships are like startups. They take vision, grit, and a willingness to take risks. When I started Tesla, I didn't just want to build a car. I wanted to build a future where fossil fuels were history. That took confidence, not just in myself, but in the team around me. An older woman brings that same kind of energy to a relationship. She's not afraid to challenge you, to push you, to call you out when you're not living up to your potential. And that's not a threat, it's a gift. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to step up, to dream bigger, to build something that lasts. Let's talk about the flip side, because nothing worth having comes easy. Society loves to throw shade at confident women, especially older ones. They'll call you too much, too independent, or my personal favorite, intimidating. You know what I say to that? Good, be intimidating. Be the kind of woman who walks into a room and makes everyone sit up straighter. When people told me SpaceX was a pipe dream, I didn't shrink, I doubled down, I built bigger rockets, took bigger risks. Ladies, your confidence is your rocket. Don't let anyone convince you to keep it grounded. Launch it and let the world deal with the shockwave. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, lean into it. Loving an older woman isn't about playing it safe. It's about embracing someone who's going to challenge you to be your best self. Her confidence isn't a barrier, it's an invitation. It's a chance to build something extraordinary together, whether that's a relationship, a shared dream, or just a life that feels bigger than the sum of its parts. It's like signing up to crew a starship, it's going to be a wild ride, but the view from orbit is worth it. So, what's the big idea here? Confidence isn't just a trait, it's a revolution. It's the spark that starts fires, the engine that drives progress, the flame that lights up the dark. An older woman's confidence is what makes her unstoppable, what makes her a partner who can stand toe to toe with anyone and say, let's do this. And to every woman listening, don't ever let anyone make you feel like your confidence is too much. It's not. It's exactly what the world needs. You're not just a woman, you're a supernova, and your light is going to change everything. We're not slowing down. Next up, we're diving into the ultimate allure, the intellectual spark of an older woman, the kind of mind that can outshine a galaxy. So stay with me. We're building something big here, and it's only getting brighter. We've been on a wild ride so far, haven't we? We've talked about breaking the chains of convention, the raw power of maturity, and the blazing confidence that makes an older woman a force of nature. Now, let's shift gears and dive into something that's at the heart of why I'm so drawn to this topic. I'm Elon Musk, and today we're talking about the ultimate seduction, intellect. Not the kind you show off in a trivia contest, but the deep, sharp, world-changing intellect that an older woman wields like a master engineer tweaking a starship prototype. This is for the women out there who've spent years sharpening their minds, building their wisdom, and becoming the kind of person who can spark a revolution with a single conversation. Buckle up, because we're about to explore why an older woman's intellect is the most irresistible force in the universe. Let's start with a truth that hits like a bolt of lightning. A brilliant mind is the sexiest thing alive. When I'm working on something like Neuralink, trying to wire the human brain to machines, or puzzling out how to make life multiplanetary with SpaceX, I'm not just looking for ideas, I'm looking for minds that can cut through the noise, see the big picture, and challenge me to think differently. That's what an older woman brings to the table. Her intellect isn't just a collection of facts, it's a tapestry woven from years of experience, hard-won lessons, and a curiosity that never quits. She's the kind of person who can sit down with you, have a conversation about the meaning of life, and leave you rethinking everything you thought you knew. Why is this so powerful? Because an older woman's intellect is refined, like a Tesla battery that's been optimized for maximum range and power. She's spent years reading, learning, questioning, and growing. She's not afraid to dive into the deep end of a discussion, whether it's about philosophy, science, or the messy, beautiful complexity of human relationships. When you talk to her, it's not just a chat, it's a journey. It's like plugging into a supercomputer that's been running simulations on life for decades. She's got insights that make you pause, ideas that make you rethink your approach, and a way of seeing the world that's both grounded and visionary. That's the kind of mind that doesn't just attract, it captivates. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're working on a problem, say, trying to figure out how to make a city on Mars sustainable. You're stuck, the numbers aren't adding up, and the team's starting to lose steam. Then someone walks in, asks a single question, and suddenly the whole problem flips on its head. That's what an older woman's intellect does. She's got this ability to cut through the clutter, to ask the questions no one else thought to ask, to see connections that others miss. I've been in rooms where one sharp mind changes everything, and I've seen it time and again with women who've lived enough to know how to think, not just what to think. That's not just a partner, that's a co-pilot for the mission of life. Now, let's talk directly to the women in the audience. Ladies, your intellect is a superpower, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Every book you've read, every tough conversation you've navigated, every moment you've spent wrestling with big ideas, it's all made you a force to be reckoned with. Society might try to downplay that, might try to tell you that your value lies in how you look or how young you seem. That's garbage. Your mind is a galaxy, vast and brilliant, and it's only gotten brighter with time. You're not just smart, you're wise, and that wisdom is what makes you a magnet for anyone with the sense to recognize it. Let's get practical. Why does this intellect matter in a relationship? Because it creates a connection that goes beyond the surface. When you love an older woman, you're not just sharing moments, you're sharing ideas, perspectives, dreams. She's the kind of person who can challenge you to think bigger, to question your assumptions, to push past your comfort zone. It's like working on a project at Tesla. You don't want someone who just nods along. You want someone who'll grab the blueprint, point out the flaw, and help you build something better. That's what an older woman's intellect brings. She's not here to stroke your ego. She's here to make you better, and that's a gift worth more than gold. I've always believed that the best relationships are built on mutual growth. When I started SpaceX, I didn't just want to build rockets. I wanted to build a future where humanity could live among the stars. That took a team of people who weren't afraid to challenge me, to bring their own ideas to the table, to push me to think differently. An older woman does that in a relationship. Her intellect isn't just a spark, it's a catalyst. It's the thing that makes you want to read more, learn more, be more. She's not just a partner, she's a collaborator in the grand experiment of life, someone who can help you crack the code to your own potential. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Society doesn't always celebrate intellectual women, especially older ones. They'll call you overqualified or too intense, as if having a sharp mind is something to apologize for. Let me tell you something. I've spent my life being called too intense. When I said I wanted to colonize Mars, people laughed. When I said Tesla could disrupt the auto industry, they rolled their eyes. But intensity, focus, a relentless drive to understand, that's what changes the world. Ladies, your intellect is your rocket fuel. Don't dim it for anyone. Let it burn, let it shine, let it light up the path for everyone around you. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, don't shy away. Loving an older woman's intellect is like signing up for a masterclass in life. She's going to challenge you, sure, but that's the point. She's going to make you think harder, dream bigger, push further. It's not always easy. Nothing worth having is, but it's worth it. It's like building a starship. The calculations are complex, the risks are high, but the payoff is a view of the universe you'll never forget. So, what's the big takeaway? An older woman's intellect is the ultimate seduction, not because it's flashy, but because it's real. It's the kind of thing that can spark a conversation, a relationship, or even a revolution. It's the difference between a life that's good and a life that's extraordinary. And to every woman listening, your mind is your greatest asset. It's the thing that makes you not just a woman, but a visionary, a leader, a force that can change the trajectory of anyone lucky enough to orbit you. Don't hide it, don't downplay it, own it. The world needs your brilliance, now more than ever. We're not stopping here. Next, we're going to tear down the walls of societal norms and talk about why loving an older woman is the ultimate act of rebellion. So, stick with me, we're about to shake things up even more. We've been tearing through the cosmos, folks exploring the electric pull of loving an older woman, the raw power of her maturity, the blazing confidence that lights up a room, and the intellectual spark that can set your mind on fire. Now, it's time to take aim at something bigger, something that's been holding us back for far too long. I'm Elon Musk, and today we're talking about breaking the chains of society's outdated rules. Loving an older woman isn't just a personal choice, it's an act of defiance, a middle finger to the small minded norms that try to dictate who we should love and how we should live. This is for the women out there who've ever been told they're too old to be desired, to be bold, to be unstoppable. Ladies, you're not just breaking the mold, you're shattering it, and I'm here to cheer you on. Let's get straight to the point. Society loves to box us in. It's like they've got this ancient playbook written by people who thought the earth was flat that says love should fit neatly into categories. Younger man, older woman. Oh, they'll clutch their pearls and whisper about appropriateness. They'll throw around words like cougar or cradle robber as if love is something you can measure with a ruler or a calendar. You know what I say to that? To hell with their playbook. When I started SpaceX, people told me reusable rockets were impossible. When I launched Tesla, they said electric cars would never catch on. I didn't listen then, and I'm not listening now. Loving an older woman is about throwing that playbook into a black hole and writing your own rules. Why does this matter? Because breaking societal norms isn't just about rebellion, it's about freedom. It's about saying, I'm going to love who I love, not because of some arbitrary number, but because of who they are. An older woman isn't just a partner, she's a statement. She's living proof that life doesn't end at 30 or 40 or 50, it's just getting started. She's out there building empires, chasing dreams, and loving with a fierceness that defies every stereotype. That's the kind of energy that makes you want to rethink everything, not just relationships, but what it means to live a life that's truly yours. Let's talk about the stakes here. Society's rules aren't just annoying, they're suffocating. They tell women that their value has an expiration date, that after a certain age, they're supposed to fade into the background, to stop being bold, to stop being seen. That's not just wrong, it's insane. Imagine if I'd listened when people said SpaceX was a pipe dream. We'd never have landed a rocket on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean. Imagine if I'd given up on Tesla when the first roadster was bleeding cash. We'd never have the Model S, the Cybertruck, or a world where electric cars are the future. Ladies, your life is your rocket, and society's trying to keep it grounded. Don't let them. You're not here to fade, you're here to soar. Now, let's get real with the women in the audience. You've heard the whispers, haven't you? The ones that say you're too old to start over, to fall in love, to chase a new dream. Maybe you've even felt that pressure yourself, that nagging voice that says you should play it safe, step back, let the younger folks take the stage. Let me tell you something, that voice is a liar. Your age isn't a limit, it's a launch pad. Every year you've lived has given you the tools, the grit, the vision to build something extraordinary. You're not just a woman, you're a pioneer, a rule breaker, a force that can rewrite the future. Don't let society's small-minded rules clip your wings. You were born to fly. Let's talk about what it means to love an older woman in this context. It's not just about attraction, it's about standing up to a world that's trying to tell you who you're allowed to love. It's about looking at someone who's been through the ringer of life, career battles, personal losses, moments of doubt, and saying, I see you, and you're incredible. It's like betting on a startup that everyone else has written off. When I poured my own money into SpaceX, people thought I was throwing it away. But I saw the potential, the vision, the future. Loving an older woman is the same. You're not just seeing her for who she is now, you're seeing the empire she's built, the battles she's won, the potential for a partnership that can change everything. And let's be clear, this isn't always easy. Society doesn't just sit back and applaud when you break its rules. There'll be raised eyebrows, snarky comments, maybe even outright judgment. But you know what? I've spent my life dealing with critics. When I said I wanted to colonize Mars, people called me delusional. When I pushed for full self-driving at Tesla, they said it couldn't be done every time. I kept going. Loving an older woman is no different. It's about standing your ground, saying, this is my choice, and it's worth fighting for. And ladies, when someone loves you enough to face that kind of heat, that's not just love, that's respect. That's someone who sees your worth and isn't afraid to stand up for it. Let's get practical for a moment. Why does breaking these norms matter in a relationship? Because it creates a partnership that's built on authenticity, not conformity. An older woman isn't here to fit into someone else's box. She's not going to shrink herself to make others comfortable. She's living her truth, and that's the kind of energy that inspires you to do the same. It's like working on a project at Neuralink. You don't want people who just follow the script. You want people who'll challenge the status quo, who will push the boundaries of what's possible. That's what an older woman brings. She's not just a partner, she's a co-conspirator in the fight to live life on your own terms. I want to speak directly to the women again. You are not defined by society's rules. You're not defined by the number of candles on your birthday cake or the lines on your face. You're defined by your courage, your vision, your refusal to settle for anything less than a life that sets your soul on fire. Every time you choose to love, to create, to chase a dream, you're not just living, you're rewriting the rules. You're showing the world that there's no expiration date on brilliance, on passion, on power. You're the ones who make the impossible possible, just like I'm trying to do with SpaceX and Tesla. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, don't back down. Loving an older woman is a bold choice, a defiant choice, a choice that says, you're not here to play by the rules, you're here to make your own. It's like signing up for a mission to Mars. It's risky, it's unconventional, and not everyone's going to get it. But the ones who do, they're the ones who will see the universe in a whole new way. They're the ones who will build something extraordinary with a partner who's not afraid to break the mold. So, what's the big picture? Breaking society's norms isn't just about love, it's about liberation. It's about saying no to a world that tries to limit you, and yes to a life that's bigger, bolder, truer. An older woman's refusal to be boxed in is what makes her a leader, a visionary, a partner who can change the game. And to every woman listening, you are that leader. Your life, your choices, your love, they're all part of a revolution that's just getting started. Don't hold back. The world's waiting for you to shake it up. We're not done yet. Next, we're diving into the clarity and purpose that an older woman brings, the kind of focus that can turn dreams into reality. So, stay with me. We're building something unstoppable here. We've been on an epic journey, haven't we? We've shattered the myths around loving an older woman, celebrated the raw strength of her maturity, the blazing confidence that commands attention, the intellectual fire that sparks revolutions, and the fearless rebellion against society's outdated rules. Now, let's zero in on something that ties it all together, something that makes an older woman not just a partner, but a guiding star in the chaos of life. I'm Elon Musk, and today we're talking about clarity, the kind of razor-sharp purpose that an older woman brings to the table, the kind that can turn a fleeting dream into a reality as tangible as a Tesla rolling off the assembly line. This is for the women out there who know exactly what they want and aren't afraid to go after it. Ladies, your purpose is your superpower, and it's time to let it lead the way. Let's cut to the chase. Clarity is the difference between wandering aimlessly and landing a rocket on a dime. When I started SpaceX, I didn't just want to build rockets, I wanted to make humanity multiplanetary. That's a goal so big it sounds crazy, but it's the kind of clarity that keeps you moving forward, even when the world's screaming that you're doomed to fail. An older woman has that same kind of clarity. She's not guessing at what she wants from life, love, or anything else. She spent years figuring it out, refining her vision, cutting away the noise. She knows her mission, and she's not wasting time on detours. That's not just attractive, it's magnetic. It's the kind of energy that makes you want to align your own orbit with hers. Why does this clarity matter? Because it's the foundation of a life that means something. An older woman doesn't just live, she builds. She's not chasing fleeting thrills or trying to please everyone around her. She's got a purpose, whether it's a career she's poured her heart into, a family she's nurtured, or a personal mission to leave the world better than she found it. That kind of focus is like the navigation system on a starship. It keeps you on course no matter how rough the ride gets. When you love an older woman, you're not just signing up for a relationship, you're joining a mission. You're partnering with someone who's got a clear vision and the drive to make it happen. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you're in a brainstorming session for something huge, like figuring out how to power a city on Mars with sustainable energy. The room's full of ideas, but they're all over the place, half-baked, unfocused, or just plain impractical. Then someone steps in, cuts through the clutter, and lays out a plan that's so clear, so precise, it's like a blueprint for the future. That's what an older woman does. Her clarity isn't just about knowing what she wants, it's about knowing how to get there. She's not afraid to make tough calls, to say no to distractions, to focus on what matters. That's the kind of partner who doesn't just make you feel good, she makes you better. Now, let's talk to the women in the audience. Ladies, you've spent years figuring out who you are and what you're here to do. Maybe you've built a career that's your pride and joy. Maybe you've raised kids who are now changing the world. Maybe you've chased a dream that no one else believed in. That's not just experience, that's purpose. It's the kind of clarity that comes from living, learning, and refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. Society might try to tell you that your time to shine is over, that you should step back and let someone else take the lead. That's nonsense. Your clarity, your purpose, is what makes you a leader, a visionary, a force that can't be stopped. Don't let anyone dim that light. Let's get practical for a second. Why does this clarity matter in a relationship? Because it creates a partnership that's built on direction, not drift. An older woman isn't here to play games or get lost in indecision. She knows what she wants, whether it's a love that's deep and real, a life that's full of meaning, or a dream that's worth fighting for. That clarity makes everything simpler, stronger, more honest. It's like working on a project at Tesla. You don't system. I noticed that the artifact content was cut off mid-sentence. Here's the continuation to ensure the artifact is complete, maintaining the same tone, style, and structure. You don't want someone who's just along for the ride. You want someone who's got a map and a destination. An older woman's clarity is that map. She's not guessing, she's guiding, and that's what makes a relationship with her feel like a shared mission to conquer the stars. I've always believed that the best things in life come from focus. When I set out to build SpaceX, I didn't just want to mess around with rockets. I had a clear goal: get humanity to Mars. Every decision, every late night, every failure was in service of that goal. An older woman brings that same kind of focus to a relationship. She's not wasting energy on things that don't matter. She's not going to drag you through endless guesswork or mixed signals. She's clear about her feelings, her boundaries, her dreams, and that clarity creates a foundation. You can build something massive on something that lasts, something that matters. Let's talk about the flip side, because nothing this powerful comes without a fight. Society doesn't always love a woman with purpose. They'll call her stubborn or demanding, as if knowing what you want is a flaw. You know what I call it? Strength. When I pushed for reusable rockets, people called me obsessed, unrealistic. But that obsession, that clarity of purpose, is what got us to the point where we're landing boosters like it's no big deal. Ladies, your clarity is your rocket fuel. Don't let anyone make you feel like it's too much. It's exactly what makes you extraordinary, what makes you the kind of woman who can inspire a man to aim for the impossible. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, embrace it. Loving an older woman with a clear sense of purpose is like signing up for a mission to change the world. She's not going to let you coast. She's going to push you, challenge you, make you better. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. It's like building a Cybertruck. It's tough, it's unconventional, but the result is something that can take on any terrain, any challenge. That's what a relationship with a purposeful older woman feels like: a vehicle for a life that's bigger, bolder, and built to last. So, what's the big picture here? Clarity isn't just about knowing what you want, it's about having the courage to go after it no matter what. An older woman's purpose is what makes her a leader, a partner, a force that can move mountains. It's what makes loving her feel like joining a cause, not just a romance. And to every woman listening, your purpose is your power. It's the thing that makes you not just a woman, but a visionary, a trailblazer, a star in a world full of noise. Don't ever let anyone make you doubt that. You're not just living, you're leading, and the world is better for it. We're not slowing down now. Next up, we're diving into the irresistible allure of experience, the kind of charm that only comes from a life fully lived. So, stick with me. We're about to take this to the next level. We've been rocketing through this journey, haven't we? We've torn down society's tired rules, celebrated the unshakable clarity of purpose, the intellectual fire that sparks revolutions, the blazing confidence that commands the room, and the raw strength and maturity that anchors it all. Now, let's dive into something that's like the final polish on a Tesla Cybertruck, something that makes an older woman not just remarkable, but absolutely unforgettable. I'm Elon Musk, and today we're talking about the allure of experience, the kind of charm that only comes from a life fully lived, from years of navigating the highs and lows with grace, grit, and a spark that never fades. This is for the women out there who've turned their experiences into a masterpiece. Ladies, your story is your superpower, and it's time to let it shine. Let's hit the ground running. Experience isn't just a resume of years, it's a work of art, a sculpture carved from every triumph, every heartbreak, every moment that shaped who you are. When I think about building something like SpaceX, it's not just about the rockets we launched today. It's about the thousands of failures, redesigns, and late night breakthroughs that got us here. Every exploded prototype, every scrapped idea, every time we had to start over, it all added up to something extraordinary. That's what an older woman's experience is like. She's not just a collection of years, she's a living, breathing testament to resilience, wisdom, and a kind of beauty that only comes from knowing life inside and out. Why is this so captivating? Because experience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. An older woman doesn't just walk through life, she dances through it. She knows how to savor a moment, how to laugh at the absurdities, how to find joy in the chaos. She's not chasing approval or trying to fit into someone else's mold. She's learned what makes her heart sing, and she's not afraid to chase it. That's the kind of allure that stops you in your tracks. It's like seeing a perfectly engineered Tesla roll out of the factory. Every curve, every detail, every moment of craftsmanship tells a story of precision and purpose. When you love an older woman, you're not just loving her, you're falling for the story she's written with every step she's taken. Let me set the scene. Imagine you're at a dinner party, the kind where the conversation could go anywhere. Someone starts talking about life, love, or maybe even the future of humanity. Most people are just skimming the surface, tossing out opinions they read on X. Then she speaks, an older woman with a quiet smile and a glint in her eye. She doesn't just talk, she weaves a story, pulling from years of lessons, insights, and moments that shaped her. The room goes quiet. You're not just listening, you're hooked. That's the power of experience. It's not just what she says, it's how she says it, with a depth that comes from living, not just existing. That's the kind of woman who makes you want to lean in, to learn, to be part of her world. Now, let's talk to the women in the audience. Ladies, your experiences are your crown. Every challenge you've faced, every dream you've chased, every time you've picked yourself up and kept going, it's all part of the masterpiece that is you. Society might try to tell you that your past is something to hide, that your wrinkles or gray hairs are flaws. That's absolute nonsense. Your experiences are what make you radiant. They're the brushstrokes on the canvas of your life, the lines that tell a story no one else can replicate. You're not just a woman, you're a legend, a living epic, and anyone who can't see that is missing out on something extraordinary. Let's get practical. Why does this experience matter in a relationship? Because it creates a connection that's rich, layered, and real. An older woman doesn't just bring love to the table, she brings a lifetime of stories, lessons, and perspectives that make every moment deeper. She knows how to handle conflict with grace, how to celebrate victories with humility, how to find meaning in the everyday. That's not just a partner, that's a guide, a collaborator, someone who can make every day feel like a new chapter in an incredible book. It's like working on a Neuralink project. You don't want someone who's just there for the paycheck. You want someone who's invested, who's got the scars and the stories to prove they're in it for the long haul. I've always believed that the best relationships are like building a company. They take time, effort, and a shared vision. When I started Tesla, it wasn't just about making cars, it was about creating a future where sustainable energy is the norm. That took years of trial and error, of learning what works and what doesn't. An older woman brings that same kind of hard earned wisdom to a relationship. She's not going to waste time on what doesn't matter. She knows how to build something lasting, how to navigate the ups and downs, how to turn challenges into opportunities. That's the kind of partner who makes you want to dream bigger, to live fuller, to create a life that's as vibrant as she island. Let's talk about the flip side because nothing this powerful comes without pushback. Society loves to diminish experienced women. They'll say you're set in your ways or too complicated, as if having a rich, full life is a liability. Let me tell you something. I've been called too complicated my whole career. When I said I wanted to make space travel affordable, people said I was out of my mind. When I pushed for a world powered by renewable energy, they said it was too ambitious. But complicated? That's just another word for interesting, for unique, for worth it. Ladies, your experiences are what make you fascinating. Don't let anyone convince you to simplify yourself for their comfort. You're a masterpiece, and the world needs every brushstroke. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, don't shy away from the depth. Loving an older woman's experience is like diving into a novel you can't put down. Every chapter is richer than the last. Every page, a new adventure. She's not going to hand you a script. She's going to invite you to co-write the story. It's like signing up to build a starship. It's complex, it's challenging, but the result is something that can take you places you never imagined. Embrace the journey because it's going to be one hell of a ride. So, what's the big idea here? Experience isn't just a collection of years, it's a treasure chest of moments, lessons, and triumphs that make an older woman unforgettable. It's the kind of allure that doesn't fade, that grows stronger with every day. It's what makes loving her feel like discovering a new planet full of wonder, mystery, and possibility. And to every woman listening, your experiences are your legacy. They're what make you not just a woman, but a force, a story, a light that can guide anyone lucky enough to know you. Don't hold back. The world is waiting for your next chapter. We're not done yet. Next, we're wrapping this up with a call to action, a challenge to live without limits and love without fear. So stick with me. We're about to bring this mission home. We've been on one hell of a journey, haven't we? We've blasted through the barriers of convention, celebrated the raw power of maturity, the unshakable confidence that turns heads, the intellectual spark that ignites revolutions, the fearless defiance of society's rules, the laser sharp clarity of purpose, and the magnetic allure of a life fully lived. Now, it's time to bring this rocket home with a final, earth shaking call to action. I'm Elon Musk, and today I'm here to talk to every woman out there who's ever doubted her power, her worth, or her place in this world. Ladies, you are not just stars, you're entire galaxies, and it's time to live without limits, love without fear, and claim the life you were born to lead. This is the grand finale, so let's make it count. Let's start with a truth that hits harder than a Falcon Heavy launch. Your life is yours to define. Not society's, not your family's, not some outdated rule book written by people who never dared to dream big. When I started SpaceX, I didn't ask for permission to send rockets to Mars. When I built Tesla, I didn't wait for the world to tell me electric cars were a good idea. I saw a future that didn't exist yet, and I went after it with everything I had. That's what I see in an older woman, someone who's not waiting for approval, who's not shrinking to fit someone else's mold. She's out there writing her own story, loving fiercely, and living with a boldness that makes the universe take notice. That's the kind of woman who inspires me to keep pushing, to keep dreaming, to keep building. Why does this matter? Because living without limits isn't just about personal freedom, it's about changing the world. Every time you choose to love who you love, to chase what sets your soul on fire, to say to hell with the rules, you're not just living for yourself, you're lighting the way for everyone else. You're showing the world what's possible when you refuse to be boxed in. An older woman doesn't just live, she leads. She's not afraid to take risks, to start over, to love again, because she knows that life isn't about playing it safe, it's about making every moment count. That's the kind of energy that can shift the trajectory of a relationship, a community, or even a planet. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a launch pad, watching a starship prepare to blast off. The countdown's ticking, the engines are roaring, and you can feel the ground shaking beneath you. That's what it's like to love an older woman who lives without limits. She's not holding back, not second guessing, not wondering if she's allowed to take up space. She's all in full throttle, no apologies. She's got the courage to love deeply, to dream wildly, to build a life that's as bold as a mission to Mars. And when you're with her, you can't help but want to match that energy to push your own limits, to live in a way that makes the impossible feel within reach. Now, let's talk directly to the women in the audience. Ladies, you are not bound by anyone's expectations but your own. You've spent years building a life through triumphs, through tears, through moments that tested your strength and proved your worth. Every single one of those moments has made you who you are, a force, a visionary, a woman who can change the game. Society might try to tell you that your best days are behind you, that you should step back, play small, let someone else take the spotlight. That's not just wrong, it's absurd. You're not here to fade into the background. You're here to shine, to lead, to love with a fierceness that shakes the stars. Your life is your mission, and it's time to launch. Let's get practical for a moment. Why does living without limits matter in a relationship? Because it creates a partnership that's alive, dynamic, and unstoppable. An older woman who lives without limits doesn't settle for half measures. She's not here for a love that's lukewarm or a life that's just fine. She wants passion, purpose, a connection that feels like it could power a city. That's the kind of relationship that pushes you to be better, to take risks, to dream bigger than you ever thought possible. It's like building a hyperloop. It's ambitious, it's challenging, but the result is something that redefines what's possible. That's what loving an older woman feels like, a chance to build something extraordinary together. Um, I've always believed that the best lives are built on bold choices. When I started Neuralink, I didn't just want to tinker with brain computer interfaces. I wanted to unlock the full potential of the human mind. That kind of vision takes courage, the kind of courage that says, I'm not afraid to fail, but I'm damn sure not going to stop trying. An older woman brings that courage to a relationship. She's not afraid to love again, to start over, to take a chance on something real. She's got the guts to say, this is what I want, and I'm going after it. That's the kind of partner who makes you want to step up, to match your fire, to build a life that's as bold as She Island. Let's talk about the flip side because the world doesn't always make this easy. Society loves to put limits on women, especially as they get older. They'll tell you to act your age, to tone it down, to stop being so bold. They'll say you're too much or too intense. Sound familiar? I've heard that my whole life. When I said I wanted to colonize Mars, people called me crazy. When I pushed for a world without fossil fuels, they said I was dreaming too big. But here's the thing: dreaming big, living bold, loving fiercely, that's what changes the world. Ladies, don't let anyone put limits on your life. Your intensity, your passion, your refusal to settle, that's what makes you a force. Own it. The world needs it. And to the men out there who are drawn to this kind of woman, don't hold back. Loving an older woman who lives without limits is like signing up for the adventure of a lifetime. She's not going to let you coast. She's going to challenge you, inspire you, push you to be the best version of yourself. It's like joining the SpaceX team. It's high stakes, it's intense, but the payoff is a life that's out of this world. Embrace the challenge because it's going to take you places you never imagined. So, what's the big takeaway? Living without limits isn't just a mindset, it's a revolution. It's about saying yes to love, to dreams, to a life that's bigger than anyone else's expectations. An older woman who lives this way isn't just a partner, she's a catalyst, a spark that can ignite a future you never thought possible. And to every woman listening, you are that spark. Your life, your love, your courage, they're the fuel for a world that's ready to change. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right time. Go out there, love fiercely, live boldly, and show the universe what you're made of. This is it, folks, the end of our journey, but the beginning of something much bigger. You've got the tools, the fire, the vision. Now go build a life that's as limitless as the stars. I'm rooting for you, and the world's watching.